listen. It's been a long time. Now everybody gonna play my funk. See your mama, come on, move that jump. Yup, Southside going pop trunk. Coming down with my swag in the pump. Old school gonna feel this track. Yup.
Why don't we talk about the go bag? You know,
Let's
trying to
talk
narrow
about the
down what's essential, right? You know, and I think D has it under essentials, bag of essentials for at least 3 days. It's clothing, right? You got to talk about layers depending on what the natural disaster may be. You know, layers of clothing so that you can stay comfortable during whatever if you can't be in your home.
Absolutely.
Socks, hats, underwear, toothbrush, all your toiletries, your medications, you know,
big time.
Particularly important for, folks that take regular, medications, your
senior citizens.
Your parents, the elderly, whatever, making sure they have access to plenty of their medications. Those are the things that are essential to maintaining life, layering, the clothing, but hydration is another one, right? Make sure you got, cases of water that you can access because you don't know, how long you might be gone for. And so I think those things are part of the go bag that are real essential. We talked about the cash already and how that's important. Cash is king when, all the banks are closed and, the power may be out. ATMs ain't working if the power is out, right? So you got to have some kind of way to, trade, for goods and services. Those power banks are good for keeping the phones charged and whatnot, so that you can communicate and access different things. I think as part of my go bag, not only flashlights but lanterns.
Lanterns, omnidirectional light.
Lighting. Exactly. And so. I think if you get, again, back to the ready.gov, you can go through that list, it's a more comprehensive list of what you can prepare for and what you may need. But those lanterns come in really handy. And, so like you said, so you can light up a whole space instead of, just the flashlight,
And to add to that too, Cole, is also having the plan of what I'm going to go do. Right. If I have to have that ready bag, where am I going? If it's going to be an evacuation or something, or whatever, someone has to come in and say, hey, where are you taking me? You try to get that out to whoever.
Your rally point we talked about earlier.
Exactly. Or if you got to go yourself, that, hey, point A will be here. If that's not there, point B will be here. Different things as well too. Some people like, I'm getting out of town regardless. So I'm going, which is a lot of people that with hurricanes, like, hey, I'm getting out there early. If you're gonna leave early, leave several days before it's happening, because what was that?
Rita.
Yeah, when people spending 17, 18, 20 hours on the road and stuff. My parents took 18 hours and stuff, and then psychologically, things happen to them just being in an environment. You're driving, a mile an hour for like an hour, just kind of sitting there, run out of gas. But that's when people come together from that piece as well. But it's having that plan and executing on the plan that you have, right? But also the ability to adjust it too, right? If it doesn't work out. So
and along those lines, D, this is preparedness, right? So you got to make a plan, right? So do your research, make a plan. Where do I? Part of that plan is an evacuation plan, right? Because you may need to evacuate, and having that stuff ready so you can grab and go if you got to pick up and go. If you got some time to prepare, obviously that's better. That puts you in a better place to be able to get the essentials that you really need in case you have to be gone for an extended period of time. So
I think you're saying being mobile and flexible is definitely important. I have a couple of things to add to y'all's list as well. I have all the same things you got, and then also I said I checked out a couple of websites and they add a couple ones too. If you have a larger family, you might want to look into getting some of those MREs. I think they have shelf life of 25 years.
Right.
So, and they pack with calories, stuff like that. So
explain what MREs are.
Meals ready to eat. And those are just basically, they get them in buckets, they got them in these little pouches, and it's just like a meal in a bag or a meal in a bucket. And the way that they freeze dry is freeze dried food, I think, for the most part. And the way they prepare it, you just add a little water. It's got calories, and then, like I said, it has a long shelf life. So if you've got a family and y'all running low on food, that'd probably be a good way to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you hear about that with military, you know, as they go out into deployments, and you know, they have the MREs.
And I think remember D, where you weren't here, but we had right after Rita, we had Ike. I think it was like a real hurricane, but it was mostly windstorm, so it knocked a lot of the power out, and we were without power for like 2 and 3 weeks. Yeah, and so people were eating these 2 or 3 weeks, bro. It was horrible. Wow. But that bad thing, it was like during the summer, so the weather wasn't bad. Everybody kind of sat outside. You know, it was hot, but no AC, but it's better than being no power and cold. Right. Is that that was you just can't escape that. Can't get out of the way of that. So.
Hey, Cole, I think you appreciate this one. They do make the little Tony Sashers in the little packages, man. So you can put that. You ain't gotta have
got to have it.
Tony sprinkle me, baby. Sprinkle me.
Very know, boo. So that's, you might want to invest in that. I think they got them at those survival shops or whatnot. D, I think you hit me to this, the emergency radio with a crank. They got some out there. I think Voyager makes one. It's got the crank. It's got the solar. It's got USB plug-ins. It's got rechargeable battery. Right. And it's got regular battery. And you can AM FM, so you can keep abreast of what's going on in and around your community. They might be having stuff in your community where they're bringing and dropping off water. You're stuck in the house, you don't even know. Could be a couple of blocks from you.
That's a great point too, Jay, because along those lines, researching your county, state, emergency response systems and signing up for alerts, alerts and notifications. And so when we had the fires, I was tuned into CAL FIRE, which is the main fire oversight here in California, and they gave real-time updates of what's going on in and around my area, and if I was going to the evacuation zones and those types of things. When it comes to earthquakes, you can there's folks on the geological, seismic, whatever. You can find those agencies and follow their whatever their social media is, so you can stay alert as to what all the relevant updates are, and you can make adjustments on the fly of what you need to do as a result.
Oh man, that's dope. You definitely need that. We could put that in like where we got our emergency contacts. If you had a list of someone, if you guys out there watching had a list, and laminate this and put all that in one place, so you got it to refer to those things. First aid.
Jay, just real quick before we go to first aid, just on the radio aspect of it too, because we also, not that we're experts or whatever, but you also got the mental aspect, right? I know you talked about solo dolo, same here as well too. Mm-hmm. If you're sitting in the house for a couple days, you have no noise or nothing or whatever, that radio may get you through mentally,
psychologically, absolutely.
Yeah, it's something that says, okay, you probably can talk back to the radio like, man, that's a bunch of crap, whatever. You know what it is? Yeah.
That's definitely because the one thing they also mentioned was like card and board games. If you got like families, y'all can do stuff like that. But if you're dolo, you need that interaction.
Dominoes by yourself, right?
Solitary. Play solitary while you're in solitary. Yeah. That is not good for your mental state. So no, that's definitely, you got to be mentally, you got to have your mental capacity there as well. So that's good for that. The first aid kit, I think that's pretty standard. Everybody knows first aid kit. Another thing that they talked about with the first aid kit is, I think you have on the list, we already have on the list, is gloves. Yeah. Right. And you got to have gloves. Think about for anything, right? Somebody first aid situation, somebody's bleeding. You don't really have water to wash your hands. You want to put some gloves on. You have to go use the bathroom. You have water to use gloves or something. Or if you're handling waste material, you got water to wash your hands. You know what I'm saying? You want to use those gloves. So that's in your first aid kit. So everything we don't have to drain first aid kit. People know what's in the first aid kit.
But I mean, to touch on the gloves, different types of gloves too, because say for example, a tree or something does fall in front of your door or something, right? Yeah. Front and back doors, you got to try to get out of there. If it's a lot of spiky things on the limbs or something, whatever, you got to maybe push that out the way or some kind of way, right? So you don't want that stuff in your hands and stuff, and it causes more problems, right? You got
tools.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to mention that little tiny wrenches or something to shut your water off, or like you said, maybe to cut a branch off or something.
Know to shut your water off.
Know where to shut your water off. That's important. Shutting the water valve
gas,
or the gas. Know those two things big time. Especially if you're maybe you're a young female and you're staying by yourself and you got a house. You got to know these things, where the shut off valves are and stuff like that. Maybe you're staying with a kid. You got a kid. You got to know these things. Water shut off, gas shut off. Those are good points, D. And the tools to use those. Sometimes they got a water wrench. You can buy at Home Depot, but sometimes you just use a regular wrench.
Right.
To do those things. So that's definitely good. One other thing they mentioned was a whistle. I was like, and this may be for you, Cole, like being in an earthquake.
Yeah.
I can, have a whistle on you so people can find you. You know what I'm saying? If you're under some debris or something.
But even smoke, also, smoke or something, right? Your
dust mask, surgical mask, N95 respirator mask for that type of thing, for the smoke.
Not just for the pandemic, but also usable when you got a lot of smoke.
Plastic sheeting and duct tape if you want to cover the windows, maybe smoke, or I don't know, for us the cold, keeping the cold out, keeping some duct tape. Also duct tape wrapping your pipes. And that's pretty much I had. If your water goes out, one thing they mentioned is you can have a makeshift bathroom by getting a bucket and a garbage bag and using duct, and then have everybody use that as the bathroom, and then use that duct tape to tie that up, and then throw it out as needed if you don't have any way to flush the commodes. So use that as waste disposal. And that's pretty much I had to add to the go grab and go box, which I think you guys did a great job on that. Food, I don't think we need to talk about food because I think everybody kind of knows about the food. What I would like to get into next, if you guys don't have anything else to add to the other thing, and I'm trying to just, in the interest of time as well, the good to knows, other good to knows, maybe we can go through that and then put a little bow on this whole thing. Last thoughts.
Just real quick.
Go ahead, Cole.
Final point on the essentials. When you're talking about your to-go bag and getting your essentials, there are companies out there that will package all of up that stuff, finely curated packages that you can buy set, ready to go right then and there as well. So you can research those up. There's a bunch of companies that make those survival kits ready to go. It may seem like an outlay of money out front, but again, we're talking about preparedness, right? If you stay ready, you ain't got to be ready. You can get some of that. You don't have to piece it together yourself. You can have something that has all of this stuff plus more, and everything we may not have discussed or talked about.
Right.
That's absolutely right. And we'll try to throw that. Cole, if you got a handle on that, we can put that down in the description as well for the fans.
Sounds good.
Anybody, any wrap ups on the essentials before we go to the good to know, other things good to know on essentials? I think we did cover. We did pretty good extensively. Right. Kind of exhaust that.
Now everybody gonna play my funk. See your mama, come on, move that jump. Yup, Southside going pop trunk. Coming down with my swag in the pump. Old school gonna feel this track. Yup.